and welcome to this another tutorial as we focus on database, and we're actually using Microsoft Access to create this database. Now, from the previous lesson, you would have seen where we create database and we look at creating table and look at the various components that make up a table. Now, what you're seeing on your screen today is somewhat of a completed activity on database. However, we are going to analyze each area of it in terms of the tables in the database, as well as the queries, as well as report as well. Now, if you look to the extreme left of your screen, you will see we have the word tables, and we have department, and we have faculty. Now, these are the two tables that would have been created in this database. Below, you see we have the next heading, queries. You see we have CSC faculty, that is one query. We have old employees, that is one query. We have rank assistant, assist for assistant, SST for assistant right there. That is another query. So in this database so far we have 1, 2, 3 queries, and below the next heading we have table. So we have employees, which is a report. So in this case we have one report, and the name of this database is one that is created under the name university. So just for you get a background information of what this database is all about. Now we are going to go a little bit more in depth, a bit of a refresher based on what we have done last class. So I'm going to open the table that is named department. Now to open it, I'm going to double click on it to open it. And here you're seeing all the information that would have been typed up inside of your database. Sorry, inside of your table. Now, you remember last class when we look at designing our table, and we have established that in order for you to enter information like what you're seeing here inside of your table, you would first need to design your table. You need to specify the field names. You need to specify the data type of the fields, and you need to specify certain properties if needed, such as the field size and so on. Now, let's say we have this table created. However, we want to add something more in terms of field to this table. We move over here to your extreme left, just before your just below your office button right here, and we see that the menu, the icon view. I'm going to click at the drop down arrow below the word view, and I am going to click on design view because I am going back to the design of this table. So I click on design view. Good. Now, last class when we were creating our table, we would have went to table design, and when we went to table design, we would have seen these three areas at the top: field name, data type, and description. And we did say that the description will basically describe the field name. However, it is optional. All right. Now, let's say here we have department ID. Good. And our department ID would be of the data type text. Just running back through it. So all you're seeing here, these are all data types. Next field, we have department name, and it is of data type text. Next, we have building, and building is the same, data type text. and we have phone. Let's say we have phone here, but we didn't need to have phone number there, all right? Good. And we have phone number, data type, text. And so I made a mistake and this changed to memo. We want it to be text as well, so we click on text, and there you go. All right. So that is generally the design view area of our database, where we design the database, where we tell or we state that guess what, these are the field names that we want, these are the headings that is going to be there. We also have a very important feature I mentioned last class, primary key. And I said primary key will always be unique, one of a kind. Alright? And if you look at this, these field names right now, and if we want to make um, one of them be a primary key, most likely it would be your department ID. And that if it's a case where that you have a department ID with everybody have their own unique ID. That's why I mentioned it have to be one of a kind. Alright? But we will get back to that. That will basically cover it in the first lesson as well. Now I want to close my design view window. Remember I made the adjustment to have number and telephone. So I'm going to click at this second X right here to say close department. And it's going to ask me if I want to save the changes. I'm going to say yes. And there we go. Let me open my department table. And here you realize that the adjustment of number is on telephone. Alright. So what will happen? Let's say you want to add a next department record. You just simply click the N right here and you press enter and you get a next area right there to type in your information, and you'll move across like that. But just to analyze this some more and make reinforcement again based on what was done last week, here we have field department ID, we have field department name, we have field building, we have field telephone. Alright? Now, this right here, bio by itself is a field. Biology by itself here is a field. Biological science is a field. The telephone number is a field. Alright? So the smallest component, the smallest part of a database would be your field. In the table would be your field. However, we have field and we also have record as well. Alright? So let me click at this area right here and I highlight, let me use the middle one for English. I highlight everything going across. Good? So therefore ENG, English independence, and the telephone number, everything all in one that is highlighted, that is a record. So therefore, we would say that a record would consist of two or more fields. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fields making up this record. Alright? So let's pay attention a bit to department ID, because I'm going to move over to the next table for us to analyze, which is faculty. Let me double click on faculty. And if you realize that you will see both tables are side by side, so you can toggle between each of them by just clicking the tab at the top. Now here we have faculty ID, we have the faculty names, and we have the department, and we have the date as well. We have their rank, and we have their higher date as well. And as usual, we can go back to after we highlight it, we can go back to our design view and look at the back end of it. And there you go. Alright. So once you come on to date, it is date and time. When it comes on to date again, because higher date, it is data type, date, and time. Now, of all of these fields coming down right here, which would be most suitable to be a primary key? Of course, it would be faculty ID, because each member of the faculty staff is expected to have an ID number or an ID code that is unique, meaning you won't find two faculty with the same ID number. So therefore, we can go ahead and make this our primary key. So I'm going to click on it, and here at the top right here, I have primary key. Observe, there is no key right here. And when I highlight it and click on the key, you will see that the key appears right at this point right there. All right, to remove it, I can highlight and I can. So in that case, if we want to remove the primary key, we'll highlight the area again, same area the primary key is in. And if you realize that if I click off this faculty ID, the key is not highlighted. You realize that? But if I click back on the faculty ID, you see the key is highlighted, simply stating that there is that field that the primary key is on. So I can click on it like that, and you realize it is removed. A next way of adding your primary key, I can click to highlight, and then I right click on it, and I see the primary key appear right here, where I can select it from there. All right. So I'm just going to close this table. I'm going to say yes for the changes. I'm going to open back faculty, and we are going to touch on next key area as it relates to database and tables again, creating relationships. Right? So to create a relationship, you would have to have field or fields of like data type and information in both of those fields. So if we look at department, we see department ID, and if you look at faculty, we see department as well, which is the same English, maths, and so on. All right. So in order to create a relationship, you will go to database tools. So we have home, create, external data, we have database tool, we have data sheet. Click on database tools, and we click on relationships. Alright. Alright. So presently there is a relationship create already. So what I am going to do, I am going to remove those relationships from there. I'm going to remove them. Let me take this one off first. Alright. Just click and press, click the highlight and press delete. And I'm going to close this as well. I'm going to say yes to save the changes. So go back to database tools, relationship, and I'm going to click on show all tables or show table. Good. All right. So here we have the options of table, queries, or both. Simply mean that if I want to create relationship with the tables alone, the tables will appear. And if I want to create the relationship with queries, I click the queries tab, and all the queries appear. If I want to create a relationship with both tables and query, I choose both, and you will see everything is there. But at this point, we are going to create relationship using tables. So I click on tables, I click on department, and I add. Click on add to add department. Click on faculty, and then I click on add to add the faculty table. Then I'm finished with the show table right now, so I'm going to close it, and I'm going to analyze both tables at this point and look for department in both of them, because those are what we say is of like data type and data. So I click on whole right here. I'm going to use data department ID to click on hold on it, and I drag it across, and I erase it right on top of department right here. And if you realize that once I reach on top of our next table, you see it's acting to plus, but you have to ensure that you rest it on the correct one. So note where my mouse pointer is on, exactly on department. Once it's on it and it's lined up properly, I can release my mouse button, and here it is confirming to say I am joining a relationship between department ID of the department table and department of the faculty table. Yes. So I'm going to click on create, and there you go. You see that line connecting from the department ID in this table to department in the other table. So that's how you create your relationship. So I can close the relationship, and I'm going to say yes to save it. All right. Now, why do we actually create these relationships? We create relationships to aid us in creating queries as well. Let's take, for example, that I need information from this table. Let's say department name from the department table, and I need last name and first name from the faculty table. So you're seeing where I need information from both tables, but I need them to come out as one. So that is the reason why we actually, one of the reasons why we actually create relationship. So I'm going to proceed in doing that query for you to have a better understanding as well. So I go to create, and I go to query design. So I'm going to create a query to get what? First name and last name and department name. So I go to query design, and here it's showing me both tables again. I know that I need information from both tables, so I click on department to add it and faculty to add it as well. Then I can close. I did state that I need the department name. So in the department table, I see department name. So I can double click on it to get it here, or I can click and hold it, and drop it in there. Good. And I need first name and last name. I'm not going to click and drag this time, I'm going to double click. So I want last name first, so I highlight and I double click. You see it appear. I want last name, so I highlight on it and I double click, and you see it appear right there. Good. Now I am going to see the result of this query to see if I'm actually going to get only the department name and the first name and the last name. So I'm going to move over to my extreme left, and please note that I'm under the design tab at the moment. And to the extreme left here, I'm going to click on run, and when I run my query, I end up with what? Department name, first name, last name, and first name. Alright, so that's how you go about creating your relationship and using your relationship in your query. However, I can still go back to design view. So let me go back to design view for that one. And let's say that I need department ID. Same procedure, I can double click and drop it on it, double click on it, or I can click and drag. Let me double click once more, and let me run it. And here you're seeing what? ID department added to it as well. Let's say we only need the persons that is in the CSC department. Only the persons that are in the CSC department. Alright? So I'm going to go back to design view and note carefully. And let me give an example before I go even further. Let's say all of us is working in the sales department, male and female, and we have a field that is called gender. Good. So you'd have male and you'd have female under the gender column. And I want only the female names to appear. I would put a criteria under gender to say female because only female I want. Now it's the same procedure that I'm going to demonstrate now because I am saying I only want to see the persons that is of the CSC department. So I look at this design view area and I see the word criteria. So in line with criteria, I move over and click under department ID. I'm going to type in CSC. So in line with criteria, under department CSC, I'm going to run my query. And here you go. We're only seeing the persons that belongs to the CSC department. Alright. I am going to go to design view and I'm going to remove it. Alright. And there we go. We are seeing everything. Alright. So let's do one more. Let's go back to faculty and we are seeing that as it relates to date hire, we are seeing person being hired from way back from 1994 all the way up to 2001. Let's say we want to see the persons that were hired before 2000. So I want to see everybody that was hired before 2000. So we should not see anybody hired in 2000 and 2001. And if we had 2002 and 3 and so on. Alright. So I want to see everybody that is hired before 2000. I'm going to use the same query. So I click on the query and I go up to design view. And of course, I have to add the date hired field. Good. Let me run it so you see where we are. So the dates are right there. Let me go back to design view now. Same procedure. Under criteria. In line with criteria. Under hire date. I am going to put less than. And this sign is the less than sign. So I'm going to say less than the first of the first 2000. Of the first 2000. Alright. So what we're trying to get here is to see all the persons that were hired before 2000. So let's run it and see if we get a pseudo result. There you are. You realize that we are not seeing 2000 and we are not seeing 2001 in this query because we did state that we need to see all the persons that is hired before 2000. I'm going to go over it one more time. And please do not be confused with these dollar signs that you're seeing here. No. When you're doing your criteria, you no need to put in dollar sign. You can go ahead and put in your, if that's the case, go ahead and put in your less than the first day of the first month in 2000. So if we say less than the first day of the first month in 2000, therefore it will not have 2000 date any at all, but it can give you a result at least to the 31st of the 12th 1999, because that would be the day that come before the 1st of the 1st 2000. Alright, just to make a more vivid explanation, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run. Alright, so that is how we go about it. And to save it, you can simply click on the X right here again. Once it's highlighted, click on the X, not the X at the extreme top, but the second X coming down, and I click on the X and I say yes, I want to save, and so as my query name, Let me just say, call it query test. Good, and I'm click on OK, and you realize that my query tests appear at this side. But just to analyze these other queries that were done before, CSC faculty, this is the result of your CSC faculty, and we can go to design view for it as well. And there you go. So you want all CSC faculties, and let me click on close for that. And let's look at all employees. See the employee name and the hire date, and this is similar to the one that I was showing you before. So analyze that carefully, and this is in my design view. And also the rank assist. So in this one, you're realizing that it wants only the persons that is belong to assist or assistant. All right, so I can close that. Let me close all of this as well. No, I don't want to change anything. Let's see no as well. Let's look at my employees report. So in this report, you're seeing that you have department, you have first name, last name, and in this case, it is date of birth. So we're actually going to do that. We're actually going to do that. Create this report right now for you to have a better understanding as a step that was used to design this report. So we need what? Department, last name, first name, and date of birth. So the question you need to ask yourself, which of the two tables all those information are in? Alright, we need what? Department. Department name is here. Let's look at faculty. Alright, we also have department here as well. We have department, and we have first name, and we have last name as well. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and gonna create our report. So we go to create once more, and we are going to create our report. So, oh, sorry, that's step, guys. Let me just cancel this. We're going to create our report. You can create, and we go to report wizard, just to find that out. Report wizard, and there we go. So we say that we're going to use our faculty table, and please note all the queries are here, all the tables are here. We're going to use the faculty table to create our report. So we did say we want department. So I click on department and I press the arrow here to send it across. I want last name. So I click on it, highlight it, and arrow to send it across. I want first name, so I click on it and the arrow to send it across. I also want date of birth. Click on date of birth to send it across. Alright. So that is how we actually do it. So we go to next. Good. And this is the area where we call our grouping option. Good. As it relates to our department right here, you see where we have more than one members belonging to your CSC and more member belonging to your MTH. So let's say we want to group, for example, we want to group by department. So at this section, we would highlight department and click on the arrow, and I realize that department appear at the top. Let me bring it back across for you to understand. So I'm going to group by department. So I click on department and the arrow to say confirm to guess what? Yes, I want to group by department. So you see department is highlighted at the top, and I'm going to click on next. All right. for as it relates to the this area, and is your sorting area. Let's say you want to sort in terms of last name in ascending order, and let me explain that as well. When you're going to sort by, let me enter last name here first. Select last name. I am going to sort by last name in ascending order. I'm simply saying the person's last name will appear in order of the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, all the way down. Had it been a case that we were to sort by descending order, it wouldn't be A, B, C. It will start from the bottom of the alphabet all the way up. So Z all the way up. Alright? So look at the understanding of that. So ascending order is like ABC going down, and descending order is a reverse order of the alphabet. So therefore, with descending order, the person name that fall with Z and all of those stuff would actually appear before the person with like A, B, and so on. But for ascending order, the person last name that start with like A, B, C, and so on will appear at the top. Okay. So let me click on next, given that it's cleared up. And I'm going to use layout, basically style how you want the information to be shown. I'm going to use a block style. And so if you click on them over here, it gives you a preview. Alright? Use block style. And orientation speaks about if you want the page to be on landscape, portrait, or landscape. And by me changing them, it gives you a preview of this right now here is portrait. This view is landscape. We're going to use portrait. I'm going to click on next. And these are the title option, like how you want the title to look at the top. You can always play around with them and choose anything suit you best. Alright, so let me try and repeat that one. Click on next. And up here, I am going to give my report a name. I'm going to give it as employees. I'm going to use employees 1 because I have it expanded as employers already. So I'm going to click on finish. Good. And there you go. This is how my report will look. However, you're not seeing the birth date clearly. So I'm actually in the preview view right now, as you see. I'm going to close print preview. Alright, and I am going to make these adjustments right now. So I am going to click on first name, and I can drag it in a bit, and right here is the date of birth. Can click on open it a bit wider so I can see it clearly. Alright, so let's preview it, and there you go. But just to analyze this some more, for you to get a more clearer understanding, we did group by department. So realize that there's one person in the bio department, BIO department. So you see that one person. For the CSC, there are 2 persons. However, you're seeing one CSC and the 2 person name falling in line and below that. Right? For ENG, there's 1 person. For MTH, there are 2 persons. So you see that is what the grouping option would do. Alright, as it relates to the sorting by ascending order, for CSC you have Lance and Simit, and of course L would come before. Alright, and as it relates to maths, there are 2J. So given this 2J, they compare the 2 other letters before to say if O gonna come before the U. Alright, so that's how they do it in ascending order. Okay. Alright, so that is it as it relates to looking at database and looking at tables, queries, and report. Remember, it is important for you to practice to develop your competency in using database. And please remember, you're using Microsoft Access to create this database. All right, so please ensure that you practice and practice, and please remember to give this video a like and subscribe as well, and you can share the link with a friend. Until then, have a great day.